Have you ever hidden a part of yourself because you were afraid of how people would react? Maybe you weren't lying, but you definitely weren't telling the truth either, right? That's exactly what Coco from Witch Hat Atelier is actually doing. And the more I watch her, the more I realize that underneath all that magic, this isn't a story about being seen. It's a story about shame. And shame doesn't just make you hide, it makes you change who you are. Hey Soul Healers, DJ Lee here, your emotionally intelligent bestie. Welcome back to my channel. And today we are talking about Coco. And we're talking about why Coco can't be honest about her truth. So let's talk about it. For those familiar with the anime, you already know how it starts out. Coco starts off as an ordinary girl. She dreams about becoming a witch, but in her world, magic is supposed to be something you're born with. Then one day, Coco accidentally discovers the truth, that magic isn't inherited, it's learned. And in the process of discovering that truth, she accidentally causes a devastating tragedy involving her mother. And from that moment on, she's carrying something very heavy, not just grief or guilt, but ultimately a secret. Now here's when things get really interesting. Many viewers ask, why doesn't Coco just tell people what happened? Why not explain everything? Why keep carrying this burden alone? Because guilt changes how we see ourselves. When people experience deep shame, they often stop asking, what did I do? And start asking, what does this say about who I am? That distinction matters. Coco isn't just afraid of being in trouble. She fears rejection. She fears disappointing the people who believe in her. She fears becoming the thing she blames herself for. And once shame enters the picture, honesty becomes much harder. I think one of the main reasons why we relate to Coco so much is because she's coming from two identities, a version that everybody sees and a version she sees of herself. To her teachers and friends, she's talented, kind, determined, but internally, she sees the mistakes. She sees the accident. She sees the guilt, and that's exhausting because when you're hiding part of yourself, every relationship feels a little unsafe. Every compliment feels complicated. Every success feels undeserved, and Coco carries that tension throughout the whole story. What I love most about this anime is that it talks about something that a lot of animes don't really talk about. It talks about how shame doesn't always make people withdraw. Sometimes it makes them work harder. Sometimes it makes them become perfectionists because it makes them spend every day trying to prove they're worthy. And that's what we see in Coco. She wants to help people, protect people, become stronger. But underneath those goals, there's often a deeper question. She's asking herself if she's still a good person after everything that has happened. And honestly, that's one of the most human questions a character can really ask. I think a lot of people can really resonate with Coco because a lot of us usually are trying to hide ourselves. We're trying to hide a mistake or a regret. And we tell ourselves, if people knew the full story, if they saw everything, maybe they wouldn't look at me the same way. But Coco's journey slowly teaches the opposite lesson. Vulnerability doesn't mean weakness, and that mistakes don't always linger forever. And that healing happens when you finally let everything go. So yeah, Coco can't be really honest about what she's currently going through. Not because she's deceptive, not because she's selfish, not because she's scared, but because she's ultimately scared. Scared that people who love her will look at her differently. And honestly, that's something that a lot of us can relate to. Comment down below if you have truly ever struggled with telling the truth to somebody you loved. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate it. And make sure to also follow me on my social media platforms, for I am on Instagram and TikTok. Thank you Soul Healers for watching this video, and as always, keep striving and keep thriving, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.